and welcome to a new episode of Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of Broadcast from the McHughniverse. This is episode 3. I am Jessica McHugh, novelist, poet, playwright, weirdo, smiley pie. And this episode I'm going to talk a little bit about, well, I got some questions to answer from some people. I'm going to talk about things to never say to a writer, or at least please try to say them sparingly. I want to thank you guys so much for continuing to watch and support and just be altogether joyful and wonderful friends, fans, and followers. It's been a tough time for me lately. I think, well, I definitely took on more than I could handle. That's for goddamn sure. So I'm working on way too many things at once, and it's got me a little stressed, to say the least. The stuff that's been going on with Tyler has definitely affected me. Sometimes in a good way because I can channel those emotions into my writing. Sometimes in a very bad way, in that I can't fall asleep at night because I fall asleep with Tyler all snuggled up, and him being sick, and the thought that, you know, I knew that obviously cats don't live forever, but the thought that I might lose him sooner than I thought is pretty hard. Like I said before many times, I don't really know what's wrong. We can't really afford to go through all the tests, but we put him on medication that should have solved the problem if it was just a simple GI issue. So we knew it was either some kind of irritable bowel thing, or it was some kind of intestinal lymphoma, basically, the vet said. And since the other stuff hasn't really worked, she basically said, yeah, it's the lymphoma. And the thing is, it's not. I mean, he's not behaving any differently. He's running, he's eating, he's drinking, he's snuggling. He's super wonderful, Tyler. But he's losing weight. He's losing weight pretty quickly. So it's hard to watch because he's all getting really bony, and he used to be like really fat, and he's really starting to look like Scar from The Lion King. Like when he's walking away, you just see those like hip bones. So yeah, it's been hard, and I don't, there's not much to do to deal with it except to just keep going and hold him and love him and kiss him and savor all, savor all the time I can, and that's what I'm trying to do, and it means so much to me to know that you care, and that you like seeing pictures of me and Tyler and all that good, horrible, selfie cat nonsense. So, that's it. On to happier things, okay? I want to start this episode by talking about something I spoke in length about in the previous episode, and that is writer's block, or saying fuck the block. I think some of it was a little, not misinterpreted, but I want to just make it clear that when I say writer's block doesn't exist and you should just fuck it, fuck the block, say all that, I'm not saying that people don't get stuck and that there aren't things that happen in your life that impede your ability to write effectively. I think I mentioned this the episode. There are more important things than writing. If you're going through a tough time, family-wise, children, death, illness, the biggies, don't feel like you need to keep that productivity as high as normal, because we're human beings. We need time to grieve and process and think. And a lot of times it is good to write through those, but if you can't come up with anything and you just really need to focus on yourself, that's totally cool. I'm not saying that people don't get stuck. I'm saying if you want to be more productive, then one of my suggestions is saying writer's block doesn't exist. Stop using it as an excuse. It's not always an excuse. Sometimes it's a very valid thing that happens to human beings. I think a lot of modern writer's block is procrastination, and, you know, you'd much rather be watching Netflix. I mean, who wouldn't? Writing is hard. I'd much rather be watching Netflix. But anyway, I don't want anyone to think that I'm calling you a liar or lazy if you get stuck. It happens to everybody, so... And thank you to my Inky cohort, Billy Sue Mosman, for talking to me at length about that issue. She was very forthcoming about her own experiences with writer's block. And I'm no Billy Sue. That's for goddamn true. I think that her side of the debate was very helpful to me. I think it's always good to hear stories from other people. And I thank you, Billy Sue, for having that discussion with me. So now we're going to move on to the other things. 10 things you should never say to a writer. And what they might say if you do. Oh my god, you're a writer? Oh, I have the best idea. You should totally write it for me. Or you could write the book based on your idea. Wait a minute, you work as a writer from home? What the fuck do you do all day? Well, you see, there's this thing, shh, no one talks about it, but it's a thing writers do called writing. So what stories are you working on? Well, I'm working on the Darla Decker series. I'm also working on rewriting The Sky the World from the Herald's Wearied Eye. And I'm also— oh my god, could you, like, not talk about writing for 5 seconds? You know, other people in the world. Wow, you're a writer? That sounds like such a fun hobby. Yeah, hobby. Ooh, you know what else is a fun hobby? Punching you in the dick. You're a writer? You must be so rich. Oh, totally. The only reason I'm not decked out in Gucci and Chanel is I'm saving that money for, you know, food. Yeah, I know you're busy and you say you have deadlines. If I say I have deadlines, I have deadlines. You know what happens if you don't meet those? You die! Oh my gosh, you must get, like, so lonely just by yourself all day. No, I tend to not get as much writing done when people are just, you know, yammering in my ear, so no, I'm working. Oh my gosh, I so want to buy your book, like all your books. I'm gonna have a big collection of your books, you know, when I get around to it. But still, you must be so rich.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
I'm so jealous of your life. Ugh, it would be so nice to just sit around and watch Netflix all day. Oh, wouldn't that be great? Ooh, you're a writer. Maybe someday you'll be published. Wouldn't that be neat? Yeah, that would be really neat. I mean, I've had 17 books published and short stories and stuff like that. I mean, just because you don't read small press, so probably haven't read them. But I am thinking about starting a new venture that's going to be, you know, mostly focused around punching you in the dick.
If I wrote a book,
what are you doing?
It would take just one day.
Don't do that.
I would be a millionaire like my bestest friend JK. That's rolling to you. I have it all here. I just need some more time.
This is gonna get so bad.
The world needs my story. Me not having glory's a crime, 'cause my thoughts are unique. speak. If I wrote a book, I think I could comprehend why other writers complain about why it's hard to get to the end. I'd move people to tears, and I'd touch all the fears. Writing characters is easy, all you folks are lazy. I know 'cause I've read Hunger Games. If I wrote a book, all my exes would groan. They should have loved me sooner, 'cause now they're just crying alone. My main girl would be me, set more pretty and sage. Mirrors would show her beauty to you from the very first page, 'cause that's how you write. If I wrote a book, I think I could comprehend why other writers complain about why it's hard to get to the end. I move people to tears, and I touch all the fears. Writing characters is easy, all you folks are lazy. I know 'cause I've read 50 Shades. If I don't get the time to write all my tales, it's cool, 'cause if you don't try, then you'll never fail. If you thought I'd work hard for this dream, you were wrong. If I wrote a book.
Now it's time for a quick Q&A. Laura Roberts, who is an author and the owner of Button Tapper Press, and the only person who has sent in a story for my "What the fuck is wrong with my story?" segment that I've only gotten to do once, hint, hint, send to me. She asked, what's your favorite female literary character? It's a tough one, because there are so many good ones. I naturally think of Matilda and, Sophie, lots of Roald Dahl little girls that I grew up with, Ramona Quimby, stuff like that. The real answer was actually quite obvious to me. My favorite female literary character is Charlotte Doyle from The True Confessions of Charlotte Doyle by Avi. If you've never read this book, which if you're a girl and you grew up in the 80s and early 90s, I don't see how that's possible that you haven't read it. But if you haven't, it's a really quick read, and it's really awesome. I'm actually going to read to you the beginning of the book, because it's really cool. It's one of those great ones, kind of like Lemony Snicket, that starts with, an important warning. Not every 13-year-old girl is accused of murder, brought to trial, and found guilty. But I was just such a girl, and my story is worth relating, even if it did happen years ago. Be warned, however, this is no story of a bad boy. Know what Katie did. If strong ideas and actions offend you, read no more. Find another companion to share your idle hours. For my part, I intend to tell the truth, as I lived it. But before I begin relating what happened, you must know something about me, as I was in the year 1832 when these events transpired. At the time, my name was Charlotte Doyle, and though I have kept the name, I am not, for reasons you will soon discover, the same Charlotte Doyle. I love this book so much. So thank you, Laura. Everyone should visit Laura's links, web pages, buy her books. She writes awesome poetry as well, so I'll put links and links and links. Thank you, Laura. This question is from Sidon Marsalis. I can't help saying it like that. I'm sorry if it's rude. It's just such a great name, and I stole it for some of the Darla Decker books. It's really good. What was his name? Aiden Marsalis. Sidon Marsalis asked, have you ever considered writing nonfiction or a memoir? I have considered writing nonfiction. My father-in-law had a really interesting life, so I always thought it would be really cool to write a book about him. And people ask me about writing, books about writing and doing seminars, instructional stuff like that, which I would love to do, but whenever I sit down and try to think about my process of writing, I can't write. It's so weird. Writing to me is very visceral and tied to my emotions, and when I'm plotting a story, it just kind of comes the way it does when I'm writing it, and then when I'm editing, I put stuff in order, and that's about as clear as I can get on my writing process. I am really bad at putting those things into words, and which is why I haven't done anything like that or tried to teach any classes, because my class would have just sounded like that nonsense. And memoir, I don't think I think people have lived way more interesting lives than I have. If you ever want to read a memoir about, my life, just read the fictional book Pins. It's not all true, but a lot of it is based on true things. So Pins from Postmortem Press, if you want to think about Jessica McHugh taking off of her clothes and shaking titties for strangers. So thank you, Sidon Marsalis, for the wonderful question. It occurred to me recently that I actually forgot to film an ending for episode 3 of Broadcast from the McHughniverse, which no professional ever does. So I just want to do that and thank everyone again for watching another episode, for supporting me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, for buying my books, for reviewing them, for sharing them, for being the most rad-tacular fucking... But there's not even a word for you. Droogs and inky cohorts does not work. You're like fucking mimosas. Because you make me feel good in the morning, you make me feel good at night, and you're pulpy. So to sum up this episode of Broadcast from the McHughniverse, things you shouldn't say to writers. Of course, this is, this is kind of a joke thing. People are going to say these things, and it's totally cool to ask your friends what they're working on, and it's totally blowing it out of proportion, so it's just a fun joke. Also, when it comes to writer's block, when I talked about before, I think that it's very popular for people to get down on other folks' styles and methods, and I think that is, I don't know what it is. I love other writers. Y'all are fucking crazy and you stink to high heaven. I just got a text message. Actually, it's me who stinks. I just assume every other writer stinks because I stink. However you get novels out, or short stories or poems or fucking essays, and if you get it out, then you're an amazing fucking person. You're superhuman, and I know how tough it is. So whatever your process is, whatever you divine to make the magic happen, I say more power to you. I think we're all strange and wonderful individuals. Not just writers, artists, or anybody is interesting. Okay. Not everybody is interesting, but artists certainly are. I got off topic a little here. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the stupid, totally not Beyonce song that I did there. I am going to be putting the full version of the song without the episode crap around it on my Patreon mimosa. I'm going to be sharing a video just of the song on my Patreon page. You can subscribe to that for only $5 a month. You get outtakes from these broadcasts. You also get brand new short stories or not published chapters from things I'm working on. So it's a lot of fun over there. I would really appreciate your support. Gosh, I hope this is all I have to say in this episode, because the mimosas are running short, and so is my diction. On my Patreon God, I can't say that! Patreon page. Fucking mimosas. Patreon page. On my Patreon page. I had to rehearse that like 8 times. Fuck. Now I just fucked up the whole thing.